It's the Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM. We're taking a look at Hume Netball with none other than our Hume Netball expert, and that is Carla Fletcher. Carla, great to have you on the line again. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, Ella. Nice to have you back.
Nice to be back with you, Carla, talking all things Hume Netties. It's no secret, it's my favourite league. Well, there's plenty to discuss, like there always is, and we'll reflect on last weekend's results. Starting with Osborne, they had no trouble, though, in their game against the Billabong Crows last weekend, 62-37, the final score.
Yeah, look, it was one of those games that everyone was really keen and interested to see how it would pan out. And I think the Crows, their focus was to have a really good start against Osborne, and they were able to do that. And the margin at quarter time was only 3 goals in it. But unfortunately, a poor second quarter enabled Osborne to take hold of the game, and they just went down and just came away with a really good win. And even though they were missing some key players, so Osborne have got a lot of depth out there, and it just seems some of those girls stepping up are doing a really good job for Osborne. Abby and Brianna O'Connell, they both had great games in defence for Osborne, and the Crows defenders, Brooke Davies and Ella Morley, they also worked really hard. So it looked like it was a pretty hard defensive game, but, like Osborne are just, seeming to be putting their foot down at this end of the season.
Yes, absolutely. And Gindera, they took care of matters against the Brocklesby Burrumbuttock Saints. 30-63 in the end, a nice resounding win for Gindera. Do you reckon they've fully got their groove back again? Because they need it, with Osborne not looking to be in any danger of slipping up anytime soon there, Carla.
Yeah, I think, the Brockburn Saints girls, they knew they were going to be in for a tough game with Gindera nearly back to full strength. And look, it was also a pretty close competitive first quarter. The Saints girls were only down by 5 goals going into the first break. But look, Gindera's Sam Creasy, she had a great game in the goals, and she won the Players' Player Award for Gindera, and also Taylor Bogle and Shana Holland, they also continue to play some great netball. BB Saints were really pleased with their goal turnaround from the first time they met, and Georgia Ellers, Rachel Kazitsky and Jemima Dunstan all played well for the Saints.
Well, we had some close games last weekend. One of those was between Culcairn and the CDHBU girls. Just 1 goal in it, Carla. Culcairn getting the win, though, 43-42. What a game this one would have been, Carla. We've had so many already in Hume Netball this season, so another one to add to that category.
Yeah, look, it was a very tight game from the first whistle. Look, both teams are fighting to claim final spots. Culcairn is, working their way in there, and CDHBU are just out of the top 6, so they would have been really keen for a win. Look, there were lots of turnovers throughout the game, but both sides worked really hard, but I think the Lions just ended up finishing up with a 1-point win. So, they're going to secure their spot, I think, in the top 6. Best players for CDHBU were Shelby Richardson, Rosie Dye and Chloe Gilchrist, and Culcairn, the mug winner was Kayla Wright, who seems to be playing really well every week, and also Claudia Grogan and Stephanie Cook had good games for Culcairn.
Another really close encounter from last weekend's games. Lockhart, they just managed to get the job done against Henty. 2 goals in the end in it for Lockhart to win this game, 35-33. Encouraging signs for Henty to finally be competitive, Carla. I guess it's probably the main takeaway that you and many others would have had from this result, but Lockhart will enjoy a win.
Yeah, look, and Henty had an amazing 3 quarters against Lockhart. They were going into the last quarter, Henty were 5 goals up, but look, Lockhart just dug deep with Chelsea Hosey for Lockhart having a fantastic game at goal shooter, and Ruby Hyde in wing defence getting some really important touches when was needed in the last quarter. And unfortunately, the goals didn't just drop it for Henty in the last quarter and giving Lockhart that 2-goal win. Jada Murphy stepped up from the under-17s, and she had a great game in goal defence for the for Henty, and also the Coaches Award went to Chelsea Wetton, who played a really solid game in the centre. But, fingers crossed, Henty coming up against Magpies this week, they might just get that win.
How long too strong for Holbrook? 53-36 in the end. A nice away win for how long, Carla?
Yeah, look, and they were pretty pleased with that win. It was a great way for them to bounce back after the Osborne game last week. Their best players were Nicola Lane in goal shooter and Olivia Baker, who played on the wing. And Holbrook's best were Taylor Bird, Jess Rowe and Ollie Stewart. So well done to Howlong for bouncing back. But, Holbrook will be keen to grab some wins coming up in the next few rounds.
The Giants tried to knock about the Murray Magpies, who were on the road in the game between these two sides, but the Magpies just getting it done in the end, 49-33. Not a whole lot in it here, Carla.
No, it wasn't. The Magpies are a pretty consistent team, they worked pretty consistently for a whole 4 quarters, and their best players were Lisa Holly in goal shooter and Tara Lischke in goal attack. They rarely miss. So, it was really down to their shooting in the end. But Ramble-Bundry Waller Giants, they had Lucy Byers. She played 7 quarters for the day and she stepped up from B grade. And, she made a real presence on the court. And also Vivian Benisi had a great game in wing defence for the Giants.
All right. Well, before we take a look at the upcoming round of action, let's just check in with the table and have a look at what is happening for a lot of those sides that we're still tossing and turning about whether we think they'll qualify for finals or not, Carla. So not a whole lot of netball left to play as far as the regular season goes. In fact, just 5 rounds left of regular play. So how does the ladder now look after round 13?
We've got Osborne sitting in first, followed by Gindra. Then we have Howlong and the Crows, and then Colcan and Holbrook. And just sitting outside of the top 6 is CDHBU on 7th position. And then, CDHBU have really got a chance to make it in there. So then we have BB Saints, the Magpies in 9th, Lockhart 10, Ramble-Bundry Waller 11, and sitting on the bottom there is Henty in 12th position.
All right, well, let's look at the games that we have to look forward to tomorrow, Carla. And one of those is Holbrook entertaining Osborne. You wouldn't suspect that Osborne are going to be troubled too much on this occasion, but there's probably easier assignments that they would have penciled in throughout the course of the season. So there is that element of surprise going into it, but Osborne should be too good.
Yeah, and Holbrook will be working hard because I know what they need to do to keep up in the top 6. But look, I think the way Osborne's been playing, especially the last few rounds, they're really putting their foot down, and they just seem to have it down pat. A lot of the teams are saying them just move the ball so quickly. So I think Osborne should win comfortably against Holbrook.
Well, the mob at the Billabong Crows must have done something to annoy an official at some point, because they've got Gindera right after they had to play Osborne last weekend. So another tough assignment for the Billabong Crows on Saturday here, Carla.
Yeah, but that's what you want going into finals. You want to be playing those top teams, because then you can work on what you need to do to get the points. But look, I think Gindera, they're getting their full team back, and they'll be working hard. Gindera know exactly what they need to do. I think Gindera will take the points against the Crows on the weekend. All
right, Lockhart, they're in a position to potentially give CDHBU some grief going into this game off the back of a win. Can they do it?
Look, that's going to be a really tough game. CDHBU's got some great height there in the circle with Rosie Dye, and Tegan Hannon will work hard to try and shut her down. But CDHBU, I think, are playing for a final spot this weekend, and I think they might just have that drive a little bit more. They want to get into the top 6, so I think it's going to be a close game. I think CDHBU might just have that little bit more, incentive to get into that top 6. They'll need this win for the weekend.
Do you reckon the Saints can get anywhere near Howlong on the road here, Carla?
Look, I think this will be a tough battle as well. The BB Saints girls have really improved from the start of the season. But I think Howlong, they've had a tough few games. They know what they need to do, so I think they'll get up with the 4 points on Saturday.
Giants up against it. They've got Calcan on the road.
Yeah, Colcan, they're playing some really nice netball. I think they'll come away with the win. But yeah, they'll have to work. They'll have to work hard, and it'll be in the last half that they'll take the game.
Don't think the Murray Magpies will break a sweat in their game against Henty, but like we say, Henty had a competitive outing last time round. Any chance of an upset here, Carla?
Well, Henty will be keen, and they've got their fingers crossed for a win against the Magpies on Saturday. But, they were pretty disappointed with their loss. They were up all game last week against Lockhart. So, they'll be going out there to give it all their best. But, Magpies are playing some nice netball. So it's going to be a close one, I think, but I think the Magpies will get up.
Well, as per normal, you've given it your best, Carla, and your best is as good as our best. Thank you very much for all your comments and insights, and we will speak to you next week. Enjoy the netball this weekend.
Thanks, Ella. Have a great weekend.